An executive at Amazon is really pushing for a Stargate movie, a movie that nobody else wants. But why is this such a problem and why is it causing such delays? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci fi TV and movie channel. So, we have been following this story for, God, nearly 2 years now, waiting for MGM to get off its backside and make a Stargate series, to make a new franchise. But we are still waiting. There have been lots of delays. For one, MGM was sold. Amazon bought it. Then MGM was a complete mess and Amazon wanted to restructure everything. That restructure is actually still not complete. And now we're waiting because Amazon can't actually decide what to do with the franchise. Does it want to do a movie, a television series, or both? Or neither? It really can't make its mind up. And I have to say at this point, the incompetence of the people at Amazon and MGM is really starting to become frustrating. They really do need to just put their heads together, decide what they want to do, and do it. But they can't seem to. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly which executive it is at the moment at Amazon that is putting a gum in the works. But before I do, I just think it's fair to tell you that at MGM, they've been pushing to do a television series. According to my sources, they've never wanted to do a Stargate movie. Michael Wright is the head of scripted material at MGM. He believes and has always firmly believed that Stargate would make a fine addition to MGM Plus and potentially Amazon Prime elsewhere in the world, and that a television series is the way to go. He's never believed, apparently, that Stargate would be successful enough as a movie to kickstart a franchise. And apparently, his feelings have never changed. Mark Fergus, part of Penguin and a Parker, the guys that did The Expanse, has come in, and he apparently agrees with Michael Wright. He has said again the whole way that this franchise needs to be a television series and then potentially straight to Prime movies at a later date. He argued, and to be honest, I probably agree with him, that this franchise just isn't big enough to support a big movie. And to be honest, other franchises are moving away from cinema releases. This is even true for other franchises you could argue are bigger. Jonathan Frakes very recently said the future of Star Trek is television. He doesn't actually foresee a return to cinema. Now, I can completely understand why, because cinema at the moment, it's like the Wild West. It can go either way. Big movies like Avatar, whatever, can still make billions of dollars, but other films just lose money hand over fist and end up on streaming services anyway. Streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime and everybody else are making virtually cinema quality movies, but putting them straight onto their streaming platforms. And that seems to be the trend moving forwards. There is significantly less risk of doing it that way. So, why is Amazon pushing for a cinematic release if there is a big risk? And I will repeat again, there is a huge risk to the franchise if they do decide to go with a cinema release. And that risk basically is, what if it doesn't actually do very well? Now, from the perspective of a fan, I want a TV series. I think there's a much lower risk. I think it would be pretty much guaranteed to be successful. However, a cinematic release, well, Gators will be very excited about it. But is there going to really be a big audience for a movie that would actually appease Gators? Now, we've talked about this a lot on our previous lives. And really, to appease Gators, it needs to be a continuation of the story. But to appease a wider audience, they can't rely too much on what happened in the series because those people didn't watch it. So it would have to be some sort of standalone series. Now, if they did do a cinematic release and it wasn't successful because Gators weren't happy and a wider audience didn't get found, then the film would lose money and we would have absolutely no chance of getting a TV series to follow. That is the biggest risk of a cinematic release. But Amazon are pushing for that. And the executive that is the problem is named Jennifer Salke. Now, Jennifer Salke has been involved in a couple of the meetings between Penguin and a Parker, MGM, and Amazon in the past. She has been involved in this all the way. Why is she pushing for a cinematic release? Because she is the head of Amazon Studios. If there was to be a cinematic release, she'd be in charge. It would come from her department. So this way she can actually get involved. Also, Amazon do want to make 8 or 9 cinematic movies a year and have put aside a big money, billions of dollars to do so. This is a massive project for her, and Jennifer Salke is desperate for material to actually produce. She sees Stargate as an easy win, but no one else agrees. Apparently, as I said, Michael Wright and Mark Fergus have been arguing against Jennifer Salke from the beginning, and they continue to do so. This really might end up having to go above Jennifer Salke to the other executives to make a decision, but they need to make a decision because, again, my sources are telling me that Mark Fergus is starting to get a little frustrated by the whole situation. He wants to begin development, and to do that, he really needs to know what format the story is going to be told in. If he has to do a cinematic release followed by a series, or a series that would lead up to maybe a straight to Prime Video movie or something like that, he really needs to know because it really affects the way the story will be developed. He really can't start until they at least tell him where to start. So once again, we're waiting on Amazon to make a bloody decision. And they need to get their thumbs out of their backsides and make that decision because, to be honest, this isn't a complicated one. This isn't like Mark Fergus's job where he has to come up with a completely new story and, he has to do all that creative stuff. All they need to decide is the business side of it. They have loads of metadata about how popular potentially Stargate would be. They have people, bean counters basically, that do all these algorithms and a bit of math and project how well projects will do. Apparently, they've done all of this work already, and actually, MGM did it again over 2 years ago. They know what the chances of success are. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I do, and I'm not going to pretend that I've seen those numbers because I haven't. But they do. And if people like Michael Wright, head at scripted material at MGM, doesn't think a cinematic release is a good idea, then I would suggest that those numbers aren't as strong as Jennifer Salke thinks. So, if that is the case, then a TV series is surely the way to go. And we know in the past that Amazon and MGM have both spoken about how the TV audience for this project is the audience that matters. Roland Emmerich confirmed that for us. So, again, a TV series is surely the way to go. Jennifer Salke needs to really get the hell out of the way and start letting other people make decisions because this constant delay is really just putting the entire project in more and more jeopardy. And I have to say, I continue to hear whispers that this franchise might not happen at all if it doesn't happen soon. This whole thing about we need to know sort of by April is a serious deadline and a proper deadline. If we haven't heard by then I'm afraid we might not be hearing anything at all. So, guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Do you want Jennifer Salke to get the hell out of the way and just let them make a TV show? Or do you actually think she's right? Would a cinematic release of Stargate actually be worthwhile? Would it actually be the great way to kickstart the franchise? Or is she just a bloody idiot and she really needs to get over herself and let other people crack on? I'd love to know exactly what you think. Please get in the comments. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. And if you want to really support the channel, consider hitting the join button. There's also a load of links in the description for our Discord server, our merchandise page, our Facebook page, and 9 Chevrons, the website that is dedicated completely to Stargate news. Please get in there and have a look. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.